Oh, okay. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
Good. I'm good. I'm good. Are you in the UK?
I am currently I'd like to say sunny UK right now, but unfortunately it's not. But yeah, back in the UK right now.
It's raining.
Yep, yep. Oh, good.
That is
Yeah, yeah. It
always the
says we can
way.
see us both, which is good. Yeah. Well, to be fair, we've had a last few days were actually really, really nice. So I don't mind a bit of rain right now. I never thought I'd say that, but I don't mind.
Yeah, it's quite refreshing. I really like tropical rain. I've been loving it in Bali and Thailand and Cambodia. I think it's so beautiful. And I used to hate it when I was in the UK.
Yeah, there's a difference. When I was in Bali, when you're in traffic and it's raining the way it does there, I don't think you like it.
No. No. Okay, so now we have quite a few people in. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to another Nomadic Journeys chat with Nexstand. I'm Nicole. I have been a communication specialist with Nexstand for over a year now. And basically, every month, if you're not familiar, I sit down with a fellow entrepreneur or digital nomad, and we gather their tips on how to live a successful lifestyle. And so today, I am super excited to introduce my friend, a personal trainer, and amazing human being, Darsh Lad from the UK.
Thank you for your kind words there, Nicole. Yeah, great that we can actually do this as well.
I know, yeah, yeah. I'm so excited to hear about your time being back home, and then also how you got on with the next stand as well.
For
But
sure.
first, you are going to Qatar, am I right? In a few weeks, you're
Correct,
traveling again?
correct. Literally so on Friday, next Friday I leave. So my time here in the UK has gone very quick. I remember coming here thinking, okay, I got 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, it's coming to that time where I'm heading off again,
Mm-hmm.
but somewhere exciting now, somewhere I've not really explored before, as in only like small holidays, but being there for a longer period, which I'm very excited about.
Nice. How long are you there for?
I don't know.
Oh,
For
oh.
sure, I'm going to be there for I've got a provisional plan was just a few months, but again, I don't, we'll see where things are going. I'm in this stage of my life where I'm just going with the flow, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Scorpio 840 says, Dash, take off your shirt. Just so everyone knows, that's my boyfriend. He's not harassing Dash.
Yeah. Oh, that's
There
not the
may be
first
some
time he's asked,
offensive.
all right?
Okay, so to kind of take it back to the beginning, I know that you've had quite a long kind of journey to where you are now, and kind of for everyone watching and everyone who will watch after, paint the picture of where you were. I think it was maybe like 5 years ago, and how you got to where you are now in terms of your body, your mind,
Yeah,
your
sure.
way of approaching life.
It's definitely been a big journey. I wouldn't say, I mean, yes, it's been the past 5 years where it's definitely, I'd say bigger changes have happened, but obviously prior to that, there was a lot of stuff that was questioning myself. And so I'll take it back just a few more years to that as well. So from from a lot of people that I've kind of grown up with, they've always known I've been into the sports, I've been into the kind of the creativity side of things. I love drawing, I love playing sports as well. And this was all in school. I mean, we're 18, 17, 18 years old, and we're having to make these big, big decisions of what we want to do for the rest of our life. It could be like, okay, I want to do something science-based, I want to do business related, but being 18, having to make that decision, and this is where I had a lot of family involved or going, like, what is it that you want to do? Sports, things like
Mhm.
art aren't very rewarding careers in that sense. So I went this whole idea of going, okay, well, I can't do something I love because one, it's not going to be financially rewarding in the future. So from that and from the conversations, did I decide to make a whole different career choice of being an optometrist. So I went to university, did optometry, worked my socks off doing something I just did not necessarily enjoy, but managed to get out of it. What I got out of that career was obviously the ability to communicate, which I'll never, never take away from all the stuff I learned, but still having to do something I wasn't very, I'd say, passionate about in that sense. And it definitely got to a point where, I was making good money. I was living very comfortably. And I guess I was almost, the way I could look at it was I was just looking forward to the weekends. I was just going out with my friends, taking a few drinks, and there wasn't anything I was really working towards. I felt like I reached my threshold in that sense. I really kind of felt like this is as far as I've got. What else now? And this is where I ended up smoking a lot. I was drinking a lot, partying a lot. And I think that really did have a negative impact on one, my mental health, was because, I just stopped kind of caring about my body. And I felt like everything was based on how I looked. So I felt like, okay, I was quite slim at the time. So I was like, okay, I need to get big. By me having that very negative spiral, I ended up getting very big. I ended up gaining 20 kilos in almost 6 months, 20 kilos in 6 months. So it was very quick. And I was very, very unhealthy. I was eating all the stuff you shouldn't, smoking, drinking, bad sleep habits, and toxic relationship, you name it. And I guess
Like
it
us
came to
all.
a point, yeah, it was just a moment where I remember my sister showing me a picture of myself. She goes, Darsh, I actually couldn't believe this was you. She showed me the picture and I was like, who is that? I was like, is that actually me? And I think from that moment did I just go, right, things need to change. Things really, really do need to change. And that kind of got me in the idea of, okay, cut out all the crap, cut out all the bad habits and everything and start making that change. But yet, this is something I learned later on. We always kind of find our little loopholes. We find those little things that we go, if it's like someone's birthday or something, I don't mind still partying. Or if I'm traveling, I will still get drunk or whatever it was. It wasn't actually until like I was still binge drinking, but I was still training. So that was like, okay, I can drink, but as long as I train. And there's still that kind of that bad habit I still had. It wasn't until I actually moved to Australia where I was like, I remember the specific day when I was at the airport and I was in Bali and I could smell my hands, they smelled like cigarettes. I had a bad hangover and I was almost having that level of anxiety. I was just like, this is it. Like, that's it. Like, no more smoking, no more these bad habits. And I think it was from that moment where I was like, I'm done. I'm done with crazy partying. I'm done, and I just really want to look after my health. And I think it was just a accumulation because I was in that health industry of being an optometrist, asking clients, patients about their health, and then actually just giving me these warning signs, going, "Hey, look after your health now, because you're going to benefit from it now in the future." So
Yeah.
that took me on this whole journey of exploration of obviously not just looking after the body, but looking after the mind. And I think this is where, like, you fast track to today. I mean, yes, I'm in this wonderful position where I get to help people with who are almost kind of in my shoes. I can definitely relate to them in that sense of going, hey, you don't need these external validations. You don't need these substances to allow you to feel confident because, believe it or not, that's where I was at. And I think I've just built these habits to a point that it's just become so innate in me that I want to be able to pass on whatever I've learned throughout the years.
Yeah, yeah. And you
So long
also
story
just
short.
did and you also just did the like 100-day challenge as well, which I think did that take you to kind of like the next level of that as well?
Definitely, definitely. And I think for me personally, I was just like, okay, what have I done in the past year or so that's kind of gotten me out of my comfort zone? And that has kind of challenged me mentally, physically. And that 100 days was that kind of next level. So the idea of the 100 days came from a Vipassana. I'm not sure if anyone knows what a Vipassana is, but basically it's a 10-day silent meditation. You can't speak. You give in your phone. You have communication with the outside world, and you are literally with your thoughts throughout the day. You're meditating for about 10 hours a day. You're living like a monk, basically. And it was from that did I come to realize I was like, okay, I'm here where I am right now at the time. And I was like, I want to be there. I was like, what stands in between those two? Like there's obviously something. And I came down
Mhm.
to these a few different traits, let's say. It was the skills, the behaviors, the beliefs, and the habits. And then it was after coming out of that Vipassana where I was just like, okay, things need to change. So that's why I created the 100-day challenge. I actually, the word that kept coming up in my head during the Vipassana was reinvent, reinvent. And it was just on repeat. Hence why the 100-day challenge was called Reinvent 100, where I had a task of 15 things,
Mhm.
both looking after the mind, but also challenging the mind and challenging the body.
Mhm.
One thing I absolutely resisted, and a lot of my friends know this, was running. Running was something that was like, yeah, it's good. But I didn't realize, like, as soon as I started running, that little monkey mind comes up telling me, hey, you shouldn't be running. You're tired. You don't run. Your legs are tired. All those little excuses. So I was like, okay, if that's something that is going to be there, I need to learn to, one, observe it more often and also
Mhm.
challenging it on a daily basis. So I decided to run
Yeah.
5K every single day for 100 days as well. And
And you
by
really,
the
yeah,
end
and
of it,
you
I mean, I
really did,
still
even
run
when
now.
you, yeah. And I was gonna say, even when, and I'm not advising, I don't think either of us will advise anyone to do what this, but you even injured yourself and you kept going, for the
Yeah,
100 days.
again, disclaimer right there. You shouldn't do that. So yeah, I definitely had two bad ankles. When I went to Australia and I was running, both my ankles went and I could barely walk. But again, I was 25, I think I was like 26 days, 26 days in, and I was like, I can't like give up now. I was like, there's no way in hell. Like, surely there's my mind is telling me something, my body is telling me another, and I was just like, what do I do? So I just kept going. I kept going, it kept going, and I was like, I need to somehow get stronger or recover quicker. So I was using the ice baths, and I just kept pushing to a point. I actually felt stronger, and I was
Mhm.
going quicker, and I think the body just learns to just adapt. It has to get stronger if you give it no choice. And that's
What
where I was
doesn't
at.
kill
But
you
again,
makes
don't
you
do
stronger.
it.
But also don't try it home.
No, don't try it.
Ah, amazing. So that's where you are now, and now you are, for everyone, you're a personal trainer, right? You train people online and in person.
Correct, correct. So yeah, very different to when people go, hey, but you had this rewarding career as an optometrist. And again, if I was to change anything, I'd keep it the same. The optometry taught me so much about one, again, building that rapport with people, building that relationship with people for them to be able to go, hey, do I want to be able to work with this person. So I'll never take that away from my life, my lifeline, if you want to call it. But the way I look at it now is that I love training. It's a big part of me. And that way I can actually help other people with something I actually really love. I guess I'm very fortunate to be in this position. Do we have our good and bad days? I don't want to sugarcoat it, of course. But I still get to see and help people through through what I believe is something that we all are taking for granted right now, which is our health. And this is where I'm at, and I'm so glad to be in this space, regardless of how many people are out there doing the same, similar or different things. I feel like I can bring my own unique twist to things, and again, help people with their mindset, help people with their physical aspect as well, and just build that relationship with themselves, which is so important in this day.
Truly. And what's the biggest obstacles that, you found from moving around and having to keep a routine, but also your clients? What's their biggest obstacles as well when it comes to consistency?
So when it comes to the biggest obstacles, that I think that we have to reframe what it is that we're actually trying to do. Because when people usually are, let's say they've got a holiday or something, they're training for that holiday, meaning that when they do get onto holiday, they just stop everything they've done. But I think when you reframe the idea of going, hey, I'm doing this because it's a part of my lifestyle. It's a part of me, it's a part of something I do on a daily basis. I think if you go about it that way, Even when you are on holiday, it doesn't matter where you are. You go, hey, I have a gym. I don't have the best of restaurants, but I can do what I can with what I have. So it could be whether you're in a hotel room, whether you're outside. I traveled for 6 months with this idea of thinking, okay, well, I'm going to lose everything. But 6 months on the road in a
Hmm.
car, but yet I was training every single day with the most minimal equipment. So
Hmm.
I'd say the obstacle is not necessarily what is happening, it's more about what is it you're doing it for. And I
Ah, yeah.
believe by changing that, you'll, when you get into that situation, it's never a matter of going, oh, I don't have a gym, I can't train. It's like, okay, let's train. Let's see what I have and let's do it.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
so,
I
what
think that.
sort of minimal equipment then would you recommend, or how can people do this? Yeah, if you're traveling, how can people do this? What minimal equipment do you need, or do you recommend, or home exercises, body weight exercises?
Again, it all comes in stages, right? But the best things I had when I was traveling as well, was definitely the rings. I mean, the rings, I've even got them here as well. These are an absolute lifesaver. They
Hmm.
allow you to do amazing body weight workouts. And the greatest thing is you buy them once, they'll last you a lifetime as well. And even things like your
Hmm.
resistance bands, you can get such an effective workout just by using the resistance bands, which are just amazing. Again, we overcomplicate social media. You got some guy doing backflips. You got some guy doing pulling up I don't know, a bench press. He's just doing all sorts of strange stuff. When you can keep it
Hmm.
down to the fundamentals, your push-ups, your squats, your pistol squats, whatever those are, those can be done anywhere. And believe it or not, they don't need anything other than your body. So this is why I say to
Hmm.
people, if you want an effective workout, let's say you were to go on holiday and you're not sure what to do, I stick to the basics. Your push-ups, your squats, your tricep dips, just working the arms as well. And then you can
Hmm.
get your basic rows just by even doing like a renegade row with, for example, just like in a plank, and you're just doing a rowing. So it works your back as well. But taking that away, if it's something that you really, really don't know what to do, the greatest thing is we have access to YouTube these days. And you can just throw in whatever you might want, and a complete body weight workout can be such an effective way without use of gym.
Yeah. And we also have access to your Instagram, which has the 5-minute ab workouts on
Yes,
too.
they do. Yes, they do. So yeah, I'm definitely a someone who, whenever I speak to people, they go, "Oh, like you do a lot of hours." I actually really enjoy abs. So like, you can just have a look at my Instagram. I really love doing it, and yeah, that's something available on my Instagram. But also, again, they don't take that long, but they can be very effective. Like 5 minutes. I mean, we all have 5 minutes. I know people who spend probably 3 times as much just scrolling, and they go out. We all do. And again, five
Oh,
minutes.
yeah. Yeah, and it's so good for you because I know you once mentioned to me that you do abs every day, but and some people maybe don't do that, but actually you were saying to me that you use your abs every day, so it's like there's no harm in working them out every day because you do use them every day and they are protecting all your organs and super vital, obviously.
So, so true. Yes, if you haven't done it for a while and you go hard in your abs, you're going to feel like you're in like split in half the day after. I completely agree. But when it comes to the type of muscles that we have in our forearms, our calves, and our
Hmm.
core, we can do something with them every day because they're always doing something, whether they're twisting, getting yourself out of bed, getting into bed, it's always working, whether you're walking. So the fibers are very different within those areas, so we can go about it in a very different way.
And how do you, when you're working with people remotely, how do you maintain that like motivate, like how do you motivate your clients? I know with Yuri, you had like a lot of accountability, which was really good. So how do you do it with your other clients?
And again, it's that frame of mind of going, why are they doing it? What are they doing it for? But
Hmm.
I 100% agree that accountability is a huge, huge factor, especially when you're working with people. You just know that one, you don't want to let that other person down. And number
Hmm.
two is that you go, hey, like, this other person knows I have to do this. So it helps a lot. But there's that word that you're saying there, Nicole, is that motivation, right? Motivation, I say this a lot, it's
Mm,
like motivation will only get you started. It's that discipline. It's that, hey, this is how I feel, but
mhm,
yeah, let's go. Let's do this. Let's make it
mhm,
happen, regardless of other circumstances. It's like, regardless of what's happening in my day, we're gonna make this happen. And
mhm,
that is the difference. It's like when it comes to my clients, it's almost preparing them with all the thoughts that may come up as excuses. Going, hey, you know that you're gonna have a busy day. You know at the end of the day, there's gonna be set like that monkey mind's gonna go, hey, you know, you had a long day, you've done a lot, just relax. But it's if you were
mhm,
aware of what the thoughts were gonna come up in advance, when they do come up, you go, ah, I knew you were going to come up. I can put you to a side and let's get what I intended to and what I promised to myself. So
mhm,
it's becoming aware of those thoughts that kind of stop you in your same trap, basically.
mhm. I love that monkey mind as well.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
stopping that
It
monkey.
keeps us comfortable.
Mhm. So moving on to posture in discipline. So when you're working out, do you ever think about like does posture come into it? Like does it come into your fitness workout, or have you thought about posture before in that way?
Oh, 100%. You know, posture isn't just about when it comes to, I think there's this whole idea of going posture when it comes to when you're doing work, just make sure you posture. But we need to remember that body language is such an important key whenever we're meeting people, when we're communicating with people. You know, if we're slouched over, already some people get an idea of the kind type of energy you're going to bring. So I'm an advocate of making sure when I am speaking to someone that my body language is also in that conversation. So if I'm slouched over, looking down, do I look engaged at all? So I think having that in the back of my head has definitely helped going, okay, let's work on the posture side of things because it has a huge impact. And then when it comes to what I do in my workouts, yes, I've done the whole back in the day of just working hard and realizing that I was actually doing more harm than good to my body because we have this there's this term called bro lifting, which is where all you want to do is just train either just your chest and no lower body
Oh,
whatsoever. I
was
think
me.
that
That was me with my glutes before I got talking to you. I was like,
exactly
it's glute day
it's all
every day.
yeah. Exactly. It's chest day pretty much every day, chest and arms. So that's when I came to realize I was hindering and I was getting tight in certain areas and I was rounding a lot. And especially not cooling down or stretching that when I did come onto the computer, I was very much rounded and I was just kind of stuck on my screen, which took me a while to open things up because all this was tight. So yeah, I do pay attention to when I am training, making sure that if I'm training my upper body, like my front of the body, that I'm balancing it out the back of the body so that the posture is in alignment and symmetrical in that sense that we're targeting both sides.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And so I know that we sent you a nice little neck stand. You've got the K1.
Uh,
And
yeah,
I
it's
wonder,
been amazing.
oh, amazing. I was wondering how you got on with it because I know you have a keyboard and a mouse as well. So
I
how has it been?
do, I do. So overall, been amazing. What I noticed as well, especially because of the moving around, like you said, it's having the environment to work efficiently. I didn't have a stand before that. I actually would be being mindful of my posture, having to kind of sit up a little bit higher. But because my screen was so low, you still over time end up going a little bit further forward and you start having to kind of adjust your position. Your back starts hurting a little bit. But since using this, it's been honestly made because I've kept it up a little bit higher, which means I'm actually looking up higher, which means I don't need to look down and round my back. So I've been using it for about a week already, and all of a sudden it's just even I'm aware of it, just the fact that I'm actually looking up. And I do notice that it has a bit of an effect on productivity as well, because I think, again, as I mentioned, physiology tells a lot about what the body needs to know in terms of energy wise, right? If it's round and down, it's tired, it wants to stop, it wants to rest. And when you're opening out, it's almost like energetic feel. I'm actually getting more done, which is a bonus on that side as well because there'll be times where again that little mind will be like, you know, you're quite tired, fancy like a little
Mhm.
walk or something, but I can just keep going at it.
Yeah. Are you finding as well that you have less discomfort during the day as well? Because obviously with working out that helps a lot. But if you are like hunched over your laptop for another 5 hours of the day, obviously has like a huge effect. So do you notice a lot of like less discomfort?
Oh, heaps. The funniest thing is the fact that, you know, as you go through it, you always blame it on other things. You don't necessarily put it down to the way you're sitting. You're like, oh, you must have slept funny. But since then, and the fact that I am looking up, there's no kind of niggles in my neck. There's nothing where I feel like, oh, I just need to kind of stretch out my chest, which I had to do before.
Mm-hmm.
I'd actually intentionally go, right, I know I've been sat down for a while. It's probably
Yeah.
best that you stretch it out, but not had to do that once, which is, yeah, a big bonus on my end.
Amazing. That's so good. Okay, so you're going to take it to Qatar with you.
Oh, it's coming with me. The one thing I love the most, I think when I received it in the post and I was like, they dropped it off, I was like, well, you know, I was expecting a stand. But it was in the best box, and I think that's what I love the most is that you can literally put it in your bag and it doesn't take up a heap of space. As you can imagine, very limited on space.
Yeah.
And this has been the best thing because I can just pop it in my bag. It folds up, which is even better.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Okay, so we can come to a close, and I just have like one more question, which is a
Sure.
fun little question, which is if you could work out with anyone in the world, whether they're dead, alive, famous, not famous, who would it be and why?
Oh, good question. Okay, I think the first person I'm gonna go with the first person that I thought of is definitely Bruce Lee.
Mhm.
The reason, even though we can't do any calisthenics, I'm not fussed about that. The more I want to just be with the wisdom, the philosophy around the movements that he was talking about, his idea of why we should move, just being in that space, even if it would like kick my ass, whatever it might be, but just being in that space with that and just listening and learning and observing, it'll be him.
Nice, amazing. Okay, well, it's been really fun talking to you, and I think everyone's learned a lot about how to stay fit on the road, and also how important posture is, and everyone should get a Nexstand. Just before we go, I'll just let everyone know you can still get 10% off if you go to our link in our bio. That's for new customers. And the K1 is our lightest laptop stand so far, so yes, go and grab it. And thank you so much, Darsh. It's been so nice talking to you. I'm so glad we finally got around to doing this because I was meant to do this in Bali with you, but then it just like.
It's so good. I'm glad we got this done as well. It's been amazing. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Nicole.
Thank you so much, and I will see you soon. And bye,
100%.
everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.